Greetings, terrestrials, and greetings, Stephen Craig. Today is April 8th, 2021, and these are some strange times indeed. You're watching Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. I, of course, am Cliff McCallister, the czar of the bizarre. Shout out to you, Panda Fox Comedy, subscribing with Prime.
Yeah!
Panda Fox called in a few weeks ago with a terrifying UFO story over a lake. Those are the kinds of things you hear about on this show. Every week on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, we open up the phone lines. We post a Zoom link in the chat, and we invite you to call in and share your experiences with the unexplained, the strange, the bizarre, ghosts, cryptids, extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings. You can't name it. We want to talk about it. So go ahead and call in every week right here. This is your forum, your place to share your experiences with Cliff McCallister, the czar of the bizarre. Now, we've got some incredible news off the top of the show this week. Sightings of UFOs over Mississippi, over South Haven, Mississippi. Now, this is a story one of our viewers, Barefoot52, tipped us off to just 2 weeks ago. Of course, we were in the middle of a special artistic episode of the show, and I got quite flustered at the suggestion of this hefty news story. But now, at last, we can talk about it. Now we have the time to really get in to this UFO sighting over Mississippi, and this is an incredible sighting coming from a man named James Howell, where he and his father saw 10 large orbs hovering over the sky in South Haven, Mississippi. Stephen, I believe we have the footage, if we can bring that up. Give this a listen, folks.
No
Some
kidding,
incredible
y'all.
stuff here.
What are these? Those are not planes. They keep coming over the tree line. Look, they keep coming down here. Here comes some more. Whoa. Oh my goodness, dude. What are these? That is something else. There's more coming over the tree line.
Incredible. Steven, we can keep that footage playing. And incredible to watch that there the way that it is. You see, even as he zooms in, these aren't just stationary lights. This isn't a distant radio tower over his town. He's not surprised it's something that's always there. As he zooms in, you can see the slight variations in movements between the objects. And he said, when he gave his statement, when he was telling people about this, there were 10 large orbs, but there was one that was clearly larger than all the others. Now, I'm not sure if that's the one he's pointing to there. It's hard to get a good idea of the total size, but you've got to imagine these have to be some massive objects if a cell phone camera is going to pick them up in the sky that efficiently. You can't pick up a plane at night with a cell phone camera. So these are massive orbs hovering over Mississippi. Not an explanation as to what they are, at least not an explanation yet. Steven, you can take the video down. We're gonna learn choir director hand signals. Perfect. Wow, look at that. We are a talented bunch here on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Like I was saying, there's no telling what these orbs are over Mississippi, but we might be getting closer and closer to disclosure. The time at which the United States government, or any government really, will formally admit to the existence of unidentified flying objects and perhaps their extraterrestrial origins. Now, just recently, during one of the last COVID passings, the one that happened at the end of December, there was a little bit tacked on from the Senate Intelligence Committee that when this bill passed, it put a notification to the National Director of the Director of National Intelligence that said, we need a full breakdown of what we know about unidentified aerial phenomenon, which is government talk for unidentified flying objects. Now, at last, we are in the 180-day period between when this is passed and when we are going to get specified, unclassified information about this phenomenon, and we know exactly what was requested now. So this is some pretty exciting stuff. This is the directive that was handed down from the Senate Intelligence Committee to the Director of National Intelligence. They wrote, "The committee supports the efforts of the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force at the Office of Naval Intelligence to standardize collection and reporting of unidentified aerial phenomenon. Any links they have to adversarial foreign governments and the threat they pose to U.S. military assets and installations. However, the committee remains concerned that there is no unified comprehensive process within the federal government for collecting and analyzing intelligence on unidentified aerial phenomenon, despite the potential threat. The committee understands that the relevant intelligence may be sensitive. Nevertheless, the committee finds that the information sharing and coordination across the intelligence community has been inconsistent, and this issue has lacked attention from senior leaders. Therefore, the committee directs the Director of National Intelligence, in consultation with the Secretary of Defense and heads of such other agencies as the Director and Secretary jointly consider relevant, to submit a report within 180 days of the date of the enactment of the Act to the Congressional Intelligence and Armed Services Committees on Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon, also known as anomalous aerial vehicles, including observed airborne objects that have not been identified." So this was their statement to them. And this is specifically all the information that they have requested in a breakdown of what has been specified to be unclassified information. Now, the deadline for this is June 25th, so we are fast approaching what could very well be UFO disclosure. Here is the information that they asked for specifically. 1, a detailed analysis of unidentified aerial phenomenon data and intelligence reporting collected or held by the Office of Naval Intelligence, including data and intelligence reporting held by the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. 2, a detailed analysis of unidentified phenomenon data collected by a geospatial intelligence, signals intelligence, human intelligence, and measurement and signal intelligence. 3, a detailed analysis of data of the FBI, which has derived from investigations of intrusions of unidentified aerial phenomenon over restricted United States airspace. 4, a detailed description of an interagency process for ensuring timely data collection and centralized analysis of all unidentified aerial phenomenon reporting for the federal government, regardless of which service or agency acquired the information. 5, identification of an official accountable for the process described in paragraph 4. 6, identification of potential aerospace or other threats posed by the unidentified aerial phenomenon to national security and an assessment of whether this unidentified aerial phenomenon activity may be attributed to one or more foreign adversaries. 7, identification of any incidents or patterns that indicate potential adversary may have achieved breakthrough aerospace capabilities that could put United States strategic convention forces at risk. And 8, recommendations regarding increased collection of data, enhanced research and development, and additional funding of other resources. Ooh, got a little paranoid at the end there, but that's the way our Defense Department typically works. Now, in an interview with Fox News, the former director of national intelligence, who was in office, was the director at the time that this passed, he was giving an interview, and he said the following about this whole ordeal. He said, when we talk about sightings, we are talking about objects that have been seen by Navy or Air Force pilots or have been picked up by satellite imagery that frankly engage in actions that are difficult to explain. Movements that are hard to replicate, that we don't have the technology for, or traveling at speeds that exceed the sound barrier without a sonic boom. So, in short, things that we are observing that are difficult to explain. And so, there's actually quite a few of those. And I think that information is being gathered and will be put out in a way that the American people can see. We always, when we see these things, we always look for plausible explanation. You know, weather can cause disturbances, visual disturbances. Sometimes we wonder whether or not our adversaries have technologies that are a little bit further down the road than we thought or we realized. But there are instances where we don't have good explanations for some of the things that we've seen. And when that information becomes declassified, I'll be able to talk a little bit more about that. So there we go. We see him already pre-booking himself for another segment on that show at the end there. But also, quite an admission that there is information out there that is currently classified that we can't quite explain, and we are going to have a hard time doing so. And when that information gets declassified, it could be big. This could be a huge thing for the paranormal UFO community. And for us here at Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, June 25th, like I said, mark my words, we're going to be on watch, ready to go live at any moment over on my Instagram page at Strange Times Indeed. Anytime there's breaking news and we got to go live, you'll probably find us there. Because this beautiful show on Twitch requires at least 2 people to make it work. 3 if you count our producer who just stands off screen and does nothing the whole show. But who's to say? We don't bother. We don't worry about him. We've got myself, Cliff McCallister. We've got the director. And then there's Stephen Craig, our technical director here. Stephen, you push all those buttons. You are so good at what you do. How are you doing, Stephen?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I got buttons to push. I got mouses to click, and I've got microphones to mute and unmute. And actually, I got a private text message from one of our viewers. And I think
how private are we talking?
Not extremely private, but it seemed like I was that someone was being heard breathing into the microphone. And I said, well, it could be my computer fan, or, you know, it could be your dog. It turns out I actually was not muted. I was using a different channel that I normally use to broadcast your sound, and it had my sound in it. So I was breathing into the microphone.
Oh.
So viewer that was concerned that you had someone with allergies in your place of living, you no longer have to be concerned, and that audio is fixed.
All right. Well, Stephen, that's so great. And of course, if anything is going wrong with the show, let us know in the chat, because we can't always tell otherwise.
Or message me directly. I will not share that in the chat. But if you have the capabilities, sure, why not?
And I think also, Stephen, an important reminder to come in and just keep us posted on the importance of breathing. We're all doing it right now, and we'll hopefully do it until we cease to do so. There you go. In through the nose, Stephen, and out through the mouth. There you go. All right, we may be doing some meditation later on in the program in an attempt to make contact with extraterrestrials through close encounters of the 5th kind methodology. For those of you joining, we just want to say welcome and thank you for joining us on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. So many wild news stories off the top. So many UFO experiences going unexplained. So many things to talk about. And folks, tonight, Stephen, I don't think we've put it in yet, but let's go ahead and put the Zoom link in the chat in case anyone has a story they'd like to share. Otherwise, we're delving into the Dictionary of Superstitions tonight on the show. We're going to find out what superstitions we might not be aware of that we should perhaps be thinking more closely to. So give me a thing, anything. Go ahead and write it in the chat, whatever it might be. And we'll see. If you're curious, if there are superstitions about a certain product or a certain item, anything that was made before 1995, go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll get going here and we'll figure it out. Root vegetables. All right. Let's see if root vegetables have their own thing, or if it would be under vegetables. All right, might be under vegetables. Vampires, violet, virginity, vermain. A root vegetable. Yes, root vegetables. For the red chakra, let's try what is a potato a root vegetable. Let's see if we've got something for potatoes. Surprisingly, vegetables aren't in there, but that may be too broad. And I would imagine that individual vegetables may all have their own separate things. There's plants.
Now that seems broad. Plants.
Yes. But not vegetables. Here we go. Potato. Potato, a root vegetable. Why should we have superstitions about the potato? Well, since its introduction into Europe in the 16th century, the potato has inspired a variety of superstitions. In the early days, it was much prized as an aphrodisiac, credited with the power to cure impotence. Much later, having lost this reputation as a food of love, the potato developed a new and widespread reputation as a cure for rheumatism, being carried in the trouser pockets of sufferers far and wide. As the potato, which according to some has to be stolen, slowly shrivels and hardens, it is said to absorb the poisons that caused the problem in the first place. The fact that the drug atropine, which is reputed to cure rheumatism, can be found in small quantities in potato eyes, suggests that this notion may not be entirely without cause. Other superstitions include the idea that potatoes are best planted on Good Friday in order to be immune to interference from the devil. Though some authorities claim exactly the opposite. Yeah, I would say. Although I guess Jesus is keeping the devil busy during those 3 days. So that's probably your best bet to keep your potatoes safe. And the quaint custom that allows anyone eating a new potato for the first time in the season to make a wish. If it's the first potato of the season, you gotta make that wish. Don't forget, folks. To make sure harvested potatoes keep very well, every member of the family should share in eating the first few that are prepared. U.S. superstition adds that if a cook allows a pan of potatoes to boil dry, there will be a rainstorm. Definitely want to hear about virginity. Okay, so we've got virginity and triangles. I saw triangles first, so let's see.
You know, it's funny. When you said the thing about potatoes and wishes, I was imagining a potato with candles stuck into it and blowing out the candles.
A birthday potato.
Right. And just like, and with a big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And you have a potato wish.
I think that's a beautiful vision, Stephen. I think anyone should be so lucky to have a fresh baked potato with birthday candles sticking out of it. All right, let's see. We've got travel, trees, and trunk. No triangles, it looks like, unfortunately. So I guess we'll move along to virginity. Here we go. Here's the superstitions about being a virgin. The issue of maidenhood was once crucial in the negotiations that led up to marriage in a great many societies, and largely in remembrance of this prejudice, the subject is still surrounded by myth and superstition. Chastity was in former times considered a girl's most prized treasure, reflected in the special magical status accorded to virgins in many cultures. Only virgins can subdue unicorns, stare directly into the sun, Walk through swarms of bees without getting stung and restore the flame of the extinguished candle, for instance? The things I could have done as a virgin that I am now just realizing I missed out on.
Like staring into the sun.
I could have watched an eclipse with my little virgin eyes. I could have subdued a unicorn. Clues that are supposed to indicate that a girl has in fact perhaps only girls can do this. Maybe I didn't qualify. Clues that are supposed to indicate that a girl has in fact lost her virginity despite all claims to the contrary include the development of large breasts, which seems unfair to anyone experiencing puberty, and the discovery that she has forgotten to put the salt cellar on the table. Well, yeah, that's a clear tell, I'd say. Another test is to slip a little powdered coal into a girl's food. If she is still a virgin, she will immediately express an overpowering desire to urinate. Well, now there you go. Slip a little coal into someone's food, and if they're a virgin, they'll have to pee real bad. Sounds like a great party prank to play on your virgin friends. Ancient English custom decrees that it is lucky for a newborn baby to be held for the first time by a virgin, and that such unblemished girls and boys have greater powers of divination and healing. The mere touch of a virgin is said by some to make warts disappear and other minor ailments clear up. Likewise, the grass grows luscious on a virgin's grave and soil, and plants taken from it are supposed to possess a number of magical properties. Among more bizarre notions are the Central European tradition that a woman regains her virginity after giving birth to 7 illegitimate children, and the rather more pernicious belief that a man may cure himself of sexually transmitted diseases by making love to a virgin. Wow, what a messed up world we've been living in. Steven, how are you feeling?
I don't know which one to comment on. That was a lot.
Well, let's just go ahead and say this while we're here. Virginity is a societal make-em-up, and unless you believe it gives you those special powers and you want to wield them to your abilities, go right ahead. But whether you're a virgin or not, that doesn't really matter.
There's 2 things that are kind of troubling, not the ones at the end, but one of them, as a baby, you could be first held by a virgin. It's supposed to be a good thing.
Your mother and your father, in theory, could not hold you.
Right.
But Christ's mother could.
Christ's mother could. That's probably what blessed
canonically,
JC.
At least.
And then the other thing too, like I'm imagining virgins being buried and the plants in that soil being magical. I'm just, like thinking about keeping track of who is a virgin and where they have been buried and planting those things and keeping those plants. That's just very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, you've got to have like a little book running at the cemetery there.
Yes, you must. And was your relative a virgin? Oh, great!
Great, that will be wonderful for the petunias. They will grow so well. Folks, we've got a whole dictionary of superstitions. Let's see some more in the chat. What do we want to hear about? Here's one for the holidays. The holiday season. Nutmeg. Superstition claims that this spice has various luck-giving properties. Sprinkling a little on a competition entry or in one's lottery numbers, for instance, is sure to promote one's chances of winning. Dreaming of nutmeg, meanwhile, constitutes notice of changes in the dreamer's waking life. Nutmeg has its uses in folk medicine. It carried about the person will ward off rheumatism, just like a potato, and boils, just like a virgin. Improve the eyesight and eradicate unwanted freckles. Caution, should be ever taken by the single girl. However, if she should carry nutmeg around on her person, she will be fated to marry an old man. So be aware, all the single ladies, do not carry nutmeg unless you're looking for an old guy. The best potatoes grow on a virgin's grave. There we go. Yes, they do. And if you have 3 potatoes to make a triangle, each will have triple power. Well, that's not confirmed by the book, but I'm willing to believe it by the laws of geometry. All right, let's see. Let's go in. Oh, if you don't want, if you also, you can just put a random page number, and we'll see what we get up from that. Let's find a good one. Whoa, okay. I'd tell you all about fingernails if that wasn't like a full page long entry. What was that, Steven? I can't hear you.
Like one thing about fingernails. Just one.
Give us one thing?
Not,
right,
not the whole
let's
page.
See how it begins. They'll probably put some good
and then
stuff.
after that, we have a suggestion of page 34. So
all right,
I hope fingernails isn't on page 34, because then you have to give more than one.
Nope, we've got some room. All right. In terms of shape, fingernails that bulge in the middle are a sign that the person concerned will die early, while fingernails that are crooked betray an evil, greedy nature. The white crescent that shows at the base of the fingernails, meanwhile, indicates life expectancy. The larger these crescents are, the more years are left to the person. White spots in the nail are regarded as omens of good luck, while black spots signify ill luck and yellow spots threaten death. In the case of white spots, more detail is offered by the traditional English rhyme, which may be chanted beginning with the index finger and working around to the little finger. A friend, a Joe, a friend, a foe, money to come, a journey to go. And that somehow has to do with your fingernails. All right, let's see. Oh, now here's another clever poem to remember. The nails should ideally be trimmed on a Monday or a Tuesday, but never on a Friday or Saturday, as this is unlucky. Another Old English rhyme, known in several slightly different forms, runs: cut them on Monday, you cut them for health. Cut them on Tuesday, you cut them for wealth. Cut them on Wednesday, you cut them for news. Cut them on Thursday, you cut them for shoes. Cut them on Friday, you cut them for sorrow. Cut them on Saturday, see your true love tomorrow. Cut them on Sunday, the devil will be with you all the week. Well, that last one doesn't really rhyme, but I guess that's kind of the evil of the devil right in there. All right, so that's some information about fingernails for you. Let's take a look at page 34, and then we'll go over to 69. Page 34, all right. Superstitions about birthmarks. Superstition offers us a number of explanations for the appearance of birthmarks in the newborn, usually blaming them on some shock or evil influence to which the mother has been exposed during pregnancy, though this is now discredited. In some cultures, birthmarks are considered lucky, the mark of God, while in others they are attributed to influence of the devil, and expectant mothers are advised to sprinkle themselves with black pepper to ensure their baby is not disfigured in this way. It is believed in some quarters that birthmarks will vanish if licked regularly by the mother in the baby's early weeks, a contention that is, extraordinarily enough, backed by science in certain limited circumstances. In the USA, babies who are born with a double birthmark on the head are expected to travel widely and divide their lives between 2 continents. All right, and now let's take it over to page 69. And remember, this is a dictionary, so there's a total of 294 pages. All right, page 69. Ooh, now here's a real banger for the superstition book, I'm sure. On page 69, coffin. European tradition warns that it is reckless in the extreme for anyone to lie in a coffin, even for a joke. For anyone to lie in a coffin, even for a joke, before their time has come. In addition, no corpse should be laid in the coffin wearing clothing belonging to a living person. As the clothing rots, so the owner of the clothes will suffer a decline in health. It is customary for coffin lids to be nailed shut, but some people prefer to leave them loose so that their occupants may be able to escape more easily on the day of resurrection. Any chair or table upon which a coffin rests should be tipped over when the coffin is removed to guard against another death occurring in the household in the near future. Amulets and rings made from the metal fixings of an old coffins are said to prevent cramp, while coffin nails banged into the bedroom door will ward off nightmares. All right, how about that? Great use for some coffin nails there. And it could even prevent a singular cramp. All right, well, let's see. It's 9:33 on April 8th, 2021. Folks, these are some strange times indeed, and I can't think of anything stranger than a promoted commercial break. Steven, let's roll some footage.
The Maryland Ensemble Theater is ramping up for our next big main stage production, Loving Frederick. We want you to let us know what you love most about Frederick. The locations, the events, the activities, anything at all. Create a video and send it in. Preferably landscape. Hello, I'm Steven, and the things I love about Frederick are the Maryland Ensemble Theater. I love live music. I love to eat all the good food. And I love, you know what? That's probably going to be a bit too long. How about this? Just say the one thing that you love most around Frederick and keep the video to around 30 seconds. If you get your video in by April 10th, we'll feature you in one of our productions. That's Saturday, April 17th at 8 p.m., Saturday, April 24th at 8 p.m., or May 1st at 8 p.m. Tickets and showtimes will be made available on our website, marylandensemble.org. You can tag us with your video on social media or send your video directly to me, the digital content designer. Right there is my email, and you can also see it written somewhere in this post. Get the word out. You love Frederick, don't you?
The Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. I, of course, your host, Cliff McCallister, the Czar of the Bizarre. This show is dedicated to the Maryland Ensemble Theater, the only theater with the guts to put us on the air. You just saw a promo for their newest production, Loving Frederick, a great interactive Zoom show taking a look at everything we love about Frederick, Maryland. And we want to hear from you. We want your submissions. Steven, you saw his email in the thing. You're going to send your thing, your little 15-second video about how much you love Frederick to Stephen Craig at scraig@marylandensemble.org. Be a part of the newest digital main stage production. In addition to that, you can follow us here on twitch.tv/metcomedynight. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, you'll find the Comedy Pigs performing their signature short-form improv show. They're going to be bringing the laughs. They turned 28 years old just this past weekend. Can you believe it? The Comedy Pigs now, I don't believe any of the current members of the group were there at the beginning, but the Comedy Pigs as an institution have been creating short-form improv in Frederick, Maryland for 28 years, and they're doing it virtually tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. So be sure to check them out right here on twitch.tv/metcomedynight. Now, here on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, we take your calls. every week to hear about the strange, the unexplained, the bizarre, ghosts, extraterrestrials, cryptids, interdimensional beings, incidents of spontaneous human combustion. If you can't name it, we want to hear about it. So call and share your stories with us live on the air. We're going to post the Zoom link in the chat. And if we need to, we'll get right back in to some definitions of superstitions tonight on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Definitions of the Dictionary of the Superstition, of course, is compiled by David Pickering. David Pickering, great work. All right, so I saw there in the chat, look up T, and then we will take a look at the last page of the book. I wonder if there's superstitions about the last pages of books in general. T. Tears. T. Wow, T is as long as fingernails, but people have specifically requested it, so let's get into it, folks. What makes that sweet, sweet tea so good? Well, I'll tell you, the business of preparing a cup of tea is loaded with symbolic meaning for the superstitious people, particularly in connection with the love life of the tea maker. A woman who puts in the milk before the sugar will never win a husband, while a woman who pours from a pot that another woman has already poured from may be disconcerted to learn that this means one of them will have a baby. Possibly even red-headed twins before the year is out, or will otherwise experience bad luck. A woman who allows a man to pour her more than one cup of tea will prove defenseless before his charms, and according to another superstition, may end up becoming pregnant by him. Tea that is made too strong indicates the development of a new friendship, while tea that is too weak suggests that an existing friendship is coming to an end. If a person forgets to put the tea into the water altogether, this is a singularly bad omen. Likewise, stirring tea in the pot is a dangerous habit that is likely to provoke trouble, especially if the liquid is stirred widdershins, or anti-clockwise. And absent-mindedly, forgetting to replace the lid of a teapot is also to be avoided for reasons of avoiding quarrels, though this might be interpreted as a portent of the arrival of a stranger. No one should ever stir someone else's tea for them, which also presages a quarrel. And care should be taken never to stir tea with anything but a spoon. Spilling some of the tea leaves when putting them in the pot is, however, lucky. Bubbles that float in the surface of a cup of tea are a sign that a drinker will soon be receiving a kiss or some money, while the tea leaf or stalk that rises to the surface indicates the imminent arrival of a visitor. It is the tea leaf. If the tea leaf is hard, a man must be expected. If soft, a woman is about to appear. In either case, the person concerned should place the tea leaf on the back of one of their hands and then bang it repeatedly with the other hand until the tea leaf falls off. The number of times the hand is hit before this happens is equivalent to the number of days before the stranger will arrive. Many authorities claim that other future events may be forecast by careful examination of the shape suggested by the tea leaves that remain after a nearly empty cup has been swirled around 3 times and then turned upside down to drain the last of the liquid. According to this, the art of tasiography, a good spread of tea leaves around the cup is ideal, and leaves nearer the bottom of the bowl relating to events that lie in the more distant future than those nearer to the rim. Star shapes suggest circles. Circles, or bottles, represent failure. Bridges and birds foretell a journey. A castle suggests good news. A church indicates a wedding. A dagger warns of danger. And a horseshoe promises good luck, among many other possible findings. Finally, some thought should be given to the disposal of used tea leaves. According to one English superstition, these should never be thrown away, but should be banked up should be banked up at the back of the fire to ward off and the threat of poverty. In the English Midlands, meanwhile, it is said that tossing tea leaves on the ground in front of a house will ward off evil spirits. So there you go, everything you want to know about tea. Fascinating stuff. Let's take a look at the last page of the book. This suggestion coming from our friend Sleeping Zebra. Sleeping Zebra, welcome back to the show. Zodiac. That's the only one on Z. The only thing that starts with a Z that may have superstitions is the Zodiac itself. Let's get into the full breakdown of Zodiac wisdom, the 12 houses into which the calendar is divided according to the pseudo-science of astrology. Each house has its own unique character, and people are born between the dates each covers. And people born between the dates each covers are supposed to share much of the same traits, though further detail may be added by close examination of the precise time of birth and various other relevant circumstances. In brief, the 12 houses with their dates and allotted characteristics that follows are Aries, March 21st to April 19th, energetic, impetuous, self-reliant. Taurus, April 21st through May 20th, stable, faithful, obstinate. Gemini, May 21st through June 20th, clever, lazy, and charming. Cancer, June 21st through July 21st, changeable, ambitious, and kind. Leo, July 21st through August 20th, honest, friendly, and athletic. Virgo, August 21st through September 20th, reserved, kind, cautious. Libra, September 21st through October 20th, fair-minded, artistic, and charming. Scorpio, October 21st through November 20th, determined, generous, and brave. Sagittarius, November 21st through December 21st, friendly, carefree, and quick. Capricorn, December 21st through January 21st, independent, precise, and loyal. Aquarius, January 21st through February 19th, sympathetic, reasonable, and strong-willed. And Pisces, February 21st through March 21st, tolerant, lazy, good-natured. The somewhere artificial division of the lunar calendar into 12 houses is questioned by some authorities who have speculated, for instance, that there should, in reality, be a 13th house. There you go. That's all the information there when it comes to the zodiac. Let's take a look. What else may be of stuff? Oh, well, here's one for the Met Comedy Night channel. Here are the superstitions associated with laughter. A good laugh is said to be good for the... Sorry, Stephen, did you cough?
Yes, I did cough. I was really excited to hear about laughter, and I vocally coughed.
Ah, well, you know, Stephen, it's like they say about the secret to comedy. A good laugh is said to be good for the health, but if excessive, is thought to be injurious, especially with children. Thus, one old Suffolk rhyme warns, laugh till you cry, sorrow till you die. Timing! Timing is the secret to comedy. A sudden and uncharacteristic outburst of merriment in someone who is usually of a more morose nature is thought by many to be a bad omen, and may even suggest that the hour of that person's death is near. An old English saying has it that laughter before breakfast promises tears before bedtime. Laughing before saying one's prayers in the morning or after saying them at night was similarly thought to be unlucky in a less godless time. Well, indictment of 1995 society. It's a godless era. All right, now here's a superstition about a thing in and of itself that sounds pretty incredible to me. It's called a groaning cake. A special cake, or sometimes a cheese, that is made to celebrate the birth of a child and to ensure the good luck of the new arrival. See childbirth. Rarely seen in modern times, the groaning cake, so called in reference to the noises a mother makes in labor, should be cut by the father or else by the attending doctor, who must take care not to cut himself, as this is an omen that the baby will die before it is a year old. Refusing a piece will bring the infant bad luck and rob it of charm. A groaning cheese may be cut from the middle until the hole is large enough for the baby to be passed through it for luck, usually done on the day of christening. Unmarried girls may choose to keep their slice of cake or cheese and slip it under a pillow in expectation of seeing their future lover in their dreams. Wow. I think it's time we bring the groaning cake back. Stephen, is there anything you're curious about tonight?
Yeah, I was gonna make a comment on that laughter thing. That's. I hate to think that someone laughing could be a signal of their potential death coming soon. Even if they're typically someone who's not generally full of laughter. I don't know what the word the book used there, but it's just like, oh no, I thought this was medicine. Laughter is supposed to be medicine, not a sign that you're gonna die.
Well, I believe if it's sudden and uncharacteristic, and perhaps unprovoked as well.
Unprovoked. Okay, so that makes sense. That makes some sense there. If it's unprovoked, there's nothing. No event.
But at the same time, I could see where a person who is considered to be a very uptight and does not laugh at many things and is very kept together may towards the end of their time on this planet, on this plane, may find that they can let go a little bit, and as they start to let go and just kind of acknowledge that the end is approaching, they may find themselves able to laugh a little easier.
Could be true. Could be the reason for the superstition. Thanks
There's
for clearing that up for me.
Somewhere, even in your own demise. Stephen, any other words that you are curious about?
I think I would be curious about paper.
Paper, let's see.
Origami, maybe.
Palmistry. Palpitations. Pancake. Pansies. Paper bag. I've got paper bag, but I don't have paper. Here's what I can tell you about a paper bag. A superstition of obscure but probably relatively recent origins advises it is unlucky to burst a paper bag indoors. That's it. Easy as can be.
Where else do you burst your paper bags? The only times I've ever heard paper bags being burst indoors, or what like was indoors.
You're unleashing dark energies into the world when you pop those bags.
But
do you know that the human body exhales carbon monoxide? And when you fill a bag with it, you're filling it with this negative energy that you are releasing from your body and storing it there. When you pop it, that releases that into the room.
And you're stuck in the room with that energy as opposed to being outside.
Because when you're breathing, you are constantly recycling. And your body is releasing a negative energy as you exhale.
See, we're back to breathing again.
And you exhale the bad. And you exhale it into a paper bag, and you have the gall to burst it inside and just fill the room with your negative energies.
Maybe that's where I went wrong. I think I remember doing that in grade school, so I'll try to rebalance the energies. Definitely not popping a paper bag indoors anymore. I will go outside.
Here's a superstition about coffee. Don't talk to me until I've had it. Just kidding. According to U.S. superstition, much can be learned by observing the movement of bubbles in the surface of a cup of coffee. If the bubbles float toward the drinker, prosperous times lie ahead. If they retreat, hard times are promised. Now let's see. Let's take a look. There's gonna be some fun stuff in there. Oh, all right, okay. Dun, dun, dun. All right, I loved this term so much from before. The term for something moving anti-clockwise, or widdershins. The direction opposite to the path of the sun through the heavens, which is often stipulated as the correct movement to make in raising the devil and in the execution of various ill-intentioned spells. Taking such an anti-clockwise direction when stirring a potion or moving from one point to another is held to be contrary to the natural and proper way of doing things, and is therefore both unlucky and likely to attract the assistance of evil spirits in the making of malevolent magic. By the same token, witches and other sorcerers can recite prayers backwards, reverse, the symbols of Christianity, and walk widdershins, or withershins, around their magic circles as a matter of convention. Persons innocent to such malicious intent should beware particularly of walking widdershins around a church or a place that is reputed to be haunted, as this might well provoke the attention of demons and ghosts. So important information there when it comes to walking widdershins, folks. And here we are reaching the end of our program tonight. So I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here. All of you who have chimed in the chat, all of you who have told us about the suspicions that you've got to hear about next week on the show, next Thursday, April 15th, twitch.tv/Mad Comedy Night, Strange Times Indeed, with Cliff McCallister. We're doing the second shot vaccination special. That morning, I'm getting my second Moderna shot. Now, this is the one that's supposed to mess you up, and I tell you what, whatever happens to me over the course of that day will be right here on twitch.tv/Met Comedy Night, broadcasting live the effects of the coronavirus vaccine. So tune in and find out what fate will befall our hero, Cliff McCallister, the Czar of the Bizarre. And if you have any strange encounters you weren't able to call in and share this week, we'll be having the phone lines open next week as well. So please call in and tell us about your experiences with the unexplained. I want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight. I want to thank you, Steven, in the booth running all the tech. Thanks for keeping the ball rolling, Steven.
You got it.
You sure got this. Get this show on the road every time. And hey, before we go, I want to introduce you to our new set elemental, our own Strange Times Indeed Time Elemental. Look at this. Bursting forth from its noggin, a perpetual calendar. Capable of, whoa, hold on, there we go. Capable of broadcasting the date out into the cosmos from any month, any year. No more calendars needed, right there. How fun. And of course, a special guest joining us in the final moments of the program, our own intern and Chupacabra attack survivor, Spangler, is with us tonight. He dropped by to say hello. Hey, Spangler, say hello to the folks at home. Little self-absorbed sometimes. Hey, say hello to the folks at home, little guy. Hey, everybody. There's our guy, Spangler, our intern. Well, we'll let him finish up what he's taking care of there tonight. I want to thank each of you for joining for a third time. I thank you every time. So great to have you here joining us on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister every Thursday at 9 o'clock. If you see news, if you find out information about the unexplained, and you've got to tell Cliff McCallister about it, you got a good tip. If you've seen a news story you want to share, or you've got a story you want to share but don't feel comfortable calling in, you can send us an email at strangetipsindeed@gmail.com. We'll get that right up there on the screen for you. strangetipsindeed@gmail.com. Send us any news stories, any experiences you don't feel comfortable calling in to share. We would love to hear from you right there. You can also follow me at Strange Times Indeed on Instagram and TikTok. We are keeping the laughs rolling. I tell you, folks, and if you want to, you can also follow me on Twitter at Strange T Indeed. I have been watching this new Netflix program I posted about on Instagram called Alien Worlds, an incredibly fun program that both hypothesizes extraterrestrial worlds far beyond our own, basing the science of these extraterrestrial creatures on modifications of our own world's atmosphere, and then bringing us back to our world to show us little mini documentaries about the creatures on our planet and elements of our own world that have inspired these other civilizations. And so what you really get is a montage of very fun documentaries, all with a little sci-fi twist. Check that out on Netflix. It's a lot of fun. That's my recommendation for the week. Also, my recommendation, the Maryland Ensemble Theater, the only theater with the guts to put us on the air. Check out their upcoming production of Loving Frederick. You can see me in their current main stage production, Something Brilliant, The Rise and Fall of the Illumination Cult, available to purchase for one more week. And then you can still watch it, but you won't be able to buy it. How you'll get it? Well, you'll just have to wait and see. And for everybody else, check out Loving Frederick. And if you like us here, if you're following us on twitch.tv/MacComedyNight, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, check out the Comedy Pigs, kicking off their 28th year in existence on this terrestrial plane, making people laugh. That'll be tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. For Strange Times Indeed, I'm Cliff McCallister, the Czar of the Bizarre. Stay strange, terrestrials. Flavor like an extraterrestrial.